Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you haven't had the chance, go check out our website at justsayingfootball.com and follow us on Instagram at justsayingNoGWJS for article and video updates. Week 4 continues, buddy, at week 4. Week 9 continues at 4 o'clock. I know, it's coming up quick. Long day. All right, LA Chargers going to Philadelphia, taking on the Eagles. Eagles dominated last week over the Lions. I boldly proclaimed that the Lions were going to win. I was really wrong when the Eagles handed them a whopping 44-6 W on top of them. So what are your thoughts against this week up against a much tougher opponent in the Chargers?
Yeah, the Chargers definitely playing well, and with how their season is going right now, 4-3, the Raiders are ahead of them in the division. Definitely want to see them take this one in stride. But the Eagles last week, they looked pretty good. It was way easier, as you mentioned, against the Lions. A very winnable team, and the Chargers last week. They could not get it done against New England out of the bye week, which was unfortunate. We've seen them now have 2 straight losses. They're definitely looking to pick that up after the 4-1 start. But I got to say, it's really on Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts to get it done. Devonta Smith has 1 touchdown this year through the air. And the Chargers, they got plenty of weapons themselves.
Yeah, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler right now is my favorite running back currently in football. He's been outstanding to watch. Been so much fun. Yeah. This is going to be a much easier defense than the Patriots defense. We saw last year what Bill Belichick was able to do, and Justin Herbert was a rookie. It seems like they kind of did the exact same thing. They really slowed down the pace of that offense for sure. I felt like they weren't taking completing as many deep bombs as they normally do, which is totally okay. Again, that's how Bill Belichick operates. Yeah. I'm leading the Chargers on this one. I know that they don't have the best run defense and that the Eagles are coming off of a great game with their running backs. Boston Scott, Jalen Hurts, not a running back, quarterback, and Jordan Howard all found the end zone last week. It was absolutely insane for them. But I do like the Chargers in this one. I think that their defense is going to be too much for this Eagles defense. I just don't think that they can keep pace with that Chargers offense right now. I just don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be tough to slow down how they've been operating. I really do.
I'm going to oppose you on this one. I'm going to go with the Eagles at home, shockingly. Not a big Eagles guy, but big on them this week, especially against the Chargers right now. The last rushing defense right now, they're just kind of allowing anybody to run anything on them. And what we saw last week was just kind of a taste of what Philly's going to be doing while Miles Sanders is out, really using the run game to their advantage. And, they are bottom of the pack when it comes to passing, and they are, a top 6 team when it comes to rushing. I think that if they can control the clock against the Chargers and make the Chargers make those mistakes, as you saw them do last week, it could be a big one for them, man. I do like him in this one. And, I think it's going to be tough. Definitely a high scoring game.
Yeah, see, I just like, Justin Herbert threw the pick 6 at the end of that game, which really sealed the deal for the Patriots victory right there. They're going to do everything they can to minimize those mistakes this week coming up against this defense. Darius Slay had an outstanding game against the Lions for sure. But who's the Lions wide receiver 1? You know what I mean? It's DeAndre Swift.
Exactly.
And once they're able to minimize him, that offense immediately stopped. If you stop Austin Eckler, it doesn't mean that they can necessarily stop this entire offense. So I think it's going to be a big challenge to the Eagles. If they get a win, though, I think you have to start looking at them with a very, very different lens for sure, and take them as a serious contender. But moving on, the game of the year that we thought was going to be great, the Green Bay Packers going to Kansas City. We're hoping for some Aaron Rodgers versus Patty Mahomes, but Aaron Rodgers tested COVID positive. He has not gotten the vaccine due to personal reasons. Can't play in this game. Jordan Love going to get his first NFL start. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be kind of excited to see Jordan Love after they drafted him in the first round last year. People were kind of big on seeing what he was going to be this summer. On the other side of the ball, you have Pat Mahomes, who, we are not, we mentioned this in the last video, but, the Kansas City Chiefs did make a lot of mistakes against the Giants last week in a primetime game. This Packers defense is really no joke. They do not allow, that many passing yards a game. I think this is another tough, secondary for Tyreek Hill, especially, Travis Kelce, who we did not see have a good game last week. And I think that it really starts here. For Jordan Love, it's weird because Kansas City is actually a pretty favorable defense, in my opinion, to be facing right now.
No, I absolutely agree. Their defense is not playing very well. They it just hasn't been their season right now. They're not clicking the way that they once were last year and the year before.
Mhm.
I think Patrick Mahomes is trying to make magic happen all the time, and this is not
Yeah,
this season, and what's been going on right now is definitely not the definition of his career at all.
of course.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that he's trying to overcompensate for the defense right now, and that's totally okay. That's a quarterback. You want to do everything you can for the team. That's what's expected of you, and I totally respect that. But I think it just go back to just having fun and playing some football. You don't need to make magic all happen all the time and try to force these things. Get Travis Kelce
Mhm.
more involved. I like this matchup for them as well offensively. I think that the Packers defense is definitely formidable. It's definitely solid, but hasn't been outstanding throughout the entire season at moments. And this is an opportunity for Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to kind of take advantage
Yeah.
of this Packers defense. I think that this is going to be a more interesting game than is expected, considering that Jordan Love coming in instead of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and Jordan Love, we didn't really get to see too much of him, in the past. We were kind of hoping that, to see maybe him this year, if Aaron Rodgers was somewhere else. But this is a team right now, on a 7-game winning streak. This Packers team is a good team. In Kansas City, 4-4. I think it really reflects that. They have had, just issues as you mentioned this year. But Green Bay, great passing defense, great defense overall, ninth in points per game. Kansas City, to give you a perspective, is 25th in points per game. And if this is going to be an offensive shootout, especially with the advantage to the Packers offense, I do like the Packers in this one. I won't lie.
Oh wow. All right, just to defer from you, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm also hoping, as a Vikings fan, hopefully that we can just edge our way up a little bit in the standings, and it helps out the Bears and the Lions as always. Just always nice when the Packers lose. So I'll just
Yeah.
defer from you, but I think it's gonna be a little bit more interesting. My one question for this game before we move on: if Jordan Love's win this game and he plays really well, let's just say, is this that moment where we decide, okay, is Aaron Rodgers' time now in Green Bay for sure done? We now can definitely move on, or is it he's playing not the best defense? He has a solid defense around him, and he has Devontae Adams. You have to take this game with a grain of salt. Is this that defining moment, or is it grain of salt moment?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I think when Aaron Rodgers is out of his COVID protocol, he will probably return as the starter of the team. At this point in the season, I mean, you got to look
Absolutely, for
forward.
sure.
You got to look at these next 2 games, though, as any given Sunday, somebody can come in there and play well, and
Mike White.
how the team comes in exactly, and I think that Jordan Love, we've seen it even with Mahomes, the guy that he's playing right now. He was sitting behind Alex Smith for a couple of years, and actually 1 year, and then he got his start, and now we got another year, under a year and a half under his belt against behind Aaron Rodgers, who arguably a better quarterback all around, and I do just like what he can do here. I think Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon are heavily involved in this game. I think that they're going to have to really be able to bail out their starting quarterback in this one. And Devontae Adams, as you mentioned, definitely makes things easier on people.
All right. Fair enough. Moving on. Arizona Cardinals heading over to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Cardinals might be out with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray, considered game day decisions currently with a hamstring injury and an ankle injury, respectively. What are your thoughts on this one going up against division opponent?
Division opponent is exactly what I was going to say. It's just like we talk about this every week, the familiarity between these teams. San Francisco needs a get-right game right now. Their defense is all over the place. They're the third best passing defense, the 27th 27th best out of 32 when it comes to defending the run, and it's really just a tale of two cities with their defense, which we saw the last couple of years was the reason that they were making playoff runs. The Cardinals without Kyler Murray very much worries me. I mean, you have to look at this situation, especially losing key defensive player in JJ Watt. This team, what they did last week against the Packers, it's been tough for them, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the 49ers haven't won at home yet this year, which is interesting. They won all their games on the road. This is an interesting one for me. If Colt McCoy comes in, we did see him start last year against the Seahawks for the Giants. He got a win.
Yeah,
it was a good game for him. He definitely came out and surprised. The Seahawks were on a tear at that point during their season. I think that he could definitely move this offense around. I think that he can definitely probably do that. But in
Mhm.
terms of what he brings to the table compared to Kyler, it's just not the same. Kyler, he's considered in that MVP race. He's so
Yeah.
athletic. He can run. I'm going to go with the 49ers. They get their first win at home. I think that their defense right now is going to just dominate, especially even if Kyler is in. I don't think he's a game time decision. That worries me about the ankle and how much mobility we're going to see. Is he going to be the exact same player that we've seen
Mhm.
throughout the first 7-8 weeks, or is this going to be now kind of like the hampered Kyler that we saw last year? Not that he isn't as good, but he's not as explosive because he's playing through an injury.
Totally.
Um,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the 49ers. I think Joey Bosa will have a good day against Colt McCoy or Kyler.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Niners defense, like I said, they need a really get right game. They have been dealing with injuries this year. They've been dealing with, a lot of stuff going in. Just making sure that, they're able to, kind of conjure this win against a division opponent. This is like one of those that we were talking about, recently with like NFC South teams with the Panthers, Falcons, Saints. Like these are, there are weird division games that you just can't count against these teams. And if the Niners are going to go get one, it's going to be without Kyler Murray. I agree.
All right. Can't agree with you more. Moving on, little Sunday night football action. Tennessee Titans going to LA to take on the Rams. No Derrick Henry, as we discussed earlier this week. He is out for 6 to 10 weeks, probably most definitely the remainder of the regular season. Maybe there for the playoff push for the Titans if they're there, depending on how the season goes. But huge news for the Titans, which obviously I love. Adrian Peterson is back in the NFL. He was signed to the practice squad and then was just activated to the active roster. So he will be in the matchup against the Rams, who just got Von Miller right before the trade deadline ended. What are your thoughts in this game?
Man, I mean, if Derrick Henry was in this game, this could be like a game of the year candidate. We got the, gunslinging Matthew Stafford right now, Cooper Kupp,
Yep.
Robert Woods. They just got rid of Deshaun Jackson this week. He's gone. It looks like Van Jefferson is definitely going to start getting a little more involved on this team. And Sean's guy, Darrell Henderson, just been absolutely on a tear this year, doing his thing. Very, very excited to see what he's able to do. Tennessee, when you're looking at it, it's an interesting one because Tannehill is finally starting to look himself. But it's interesting. Their defense right now, their secondary is really banged up. In LA, it's interesting there's so many matchups here. The receivers for the Rams, the cornerbacks for the Titans, the running game for this Titans team against the Rams is going to be a tough matchup for me,
And also outside, Jeremy McNichols also going to be in that roster. We see him a lot in the passing game. He's definitely going to be active for this one and use it and being utilized a lot in the run game.
Yeah.
But I can't. I don't know what to expect from this Tennessee Titans offense. I can't say they're going to look the exact same because Derrick Henry just dominates on the field. He's so many yards ahead of.
He's an X factor.
Yeah, and when he's gone, how is that play action pass going to work for this team? Now that's been a huge part of Ryan Tannehill's success with this roster and with this team. How is that going to look up against Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller now, and Aaron Donald and this Rams team? How much more passing is he going to be doing? Yes, AJ Brown and Julio Jones are active for this game. They're both great wide receivers, but if you don't have that running game necessarily and you're running for far less than what your offense is used to, how are those adjustments going to be made? So I don't know what to expect this week. This is going to be just got to get a good assessment of the Titans moving forward. But the worst part is it comes against one of the best teams in the NFL right now. I don't,
I don't know
and
if there's a better team than the Rams right now.
I have to agree with you. You and I had this conversation the other day, and I was trying to think, like, there are some great teams out there for sure. The Bills are up there, absolutely. The Buccaneers are absolutely up there. I'll throw Baltimore on that list. I think that the Chargers can surprise. Packers, Cardinals, but this Rams team is just playing at a different level.
When you put them side by side, you're looking at now with Von Miller, you're going to have to double both Von Miller and Aaron Donald, two of the people with this is like crazier to me than the Chandler Jones JJ Watt combo. This is a insane pass rush. The NFC West is getting so good. I think that the Rams just have been able to step up to so much competition this year. And the Titans, like you mentioned, their key point is using Derrick Henry so they can use their play action to open their pass game. Tough secondary to do it against. Not too many advantages for them here, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop, as I mentioned, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson. You still have to go on the other side and have this Titans defense stop them. I see the advantage for the Rams all the way through, even though they're at home too, adding more to it.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to stick with the Rams. Like we were just kind of saying, they are by far the best team in football, sadly, right now. And Matthew Stafford's having a great season, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Cooper Kupp is on pace to be around the same realm of Calvin Johnson's 1,900-yard season. A lot can happen in the NFL. I'm not saying stuff is going to happen. He's just currently on pace.
Yeah.
If these weeks continue. Robert Woods is getting more involved there. Henderson. This is just a great team from management down, and this is a tough break for the Titans, but that is all the time that we have. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys. Enjoy the Sunday 4 p.m. games and the Sunday Night Football. Check us out, justsayingfootball.com, Just Saying Football on YouTube, and Just Saying No GWJS on Instagram for all your video and article updates. Thank you guys for checking this out. Enjoy the games.
Enjoy. Bye.